Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the September 5th, 2023 Crest Hill City Council meeting to order at 7 p.m. I would ask that everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and please remain standing after the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Unfortunately, the city of Crest Hill lost a very well-respected resident last Wednesday, August 30th. Her name was Phyllis Powell. She's a lifelong member of the city of Crest Hill. She was a volunteer with a capital V. She would volunteer and be the first to volunteer for anything. She was a member of St. Peter's Lutheran Church on Broadway Street. She was involved with the Crest Hill Women's Civic League, the Ladies Auxiliary of Post 1080, the Ladies Auxiliary of Cantigny Post VFW 367. And she was also one of the last living original members of the Crest Hill Veterans and Police Memorial Committee that was formed in 1988. Her husband unfortunately passed away about 10 years ago. She was struggling at the end, but she led a life of goodwill and volunteerism, and she was well respected within our community. She's survived by her son, Joe Ray, and her daughter, Londa, and 2 grandchildren. So we want to thank her for all of her volunteerism for the city of Crest Hill for her entire life. We also want to add our condolences to the Powell family on their loss, and I would ask for a moment of silence in memory and honor of Phyllis J. Powell. Thank you. I'd ask that you please remain standing still. We have a special guest. We have members of the Good Shepherd Church at 2437 Plainfield Road. We have the honor of having Pastor Jake Bradley in attendance tonight. I asked Pastor Jake if he'd be so kind to lead us in an opening prayer to bless this building, to bless the city council, to bless our residents, and to bless our city. Pastor, to the podium, please.
Yes, let's take a moment to pray as we begin our meeting. Just we come before you this evening as neighbors. We are all neighbors in this city of Crest Hill. Lord, I thank you for these servants that are before us on the council of Crest Hill, learning to serve the people of this city and serving them well. Lord, I pray that as a community that we would be good neighbors to one another, and we would show love, and we would pull together and be a part of the thriving of everyone in this city. Lord, we thank you for this facility, this new facility that you have gifted the city of Crest Hill. May they use it well in service of the people. Lord, we pray for this country as well, Lord, that we would be moving towards greater understanding of one another. Lord, that you would bring a peace that transcends all understanding, and that we would know that we are all your children. I just pray for these moments ahead, that you would give everyone here wisdom. You would give us listening hearts. We would listen to each other and make wise decisions for this city. As in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Roll call, please, Chris.
Ray Solomon.
Here.
Glenn Conklin.
Present.
Scott Dyke.
Here.
John Burchett.
Here.
Darrell Jefferson.
Here.
Claudia Gazal.
Here.
Tina Oberlin.
Present.
Mark Sepiti.
Here.
Nate Albert. Joe Kubal.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, Our consulting manager, Steve Golden, is excused for this evening. I did receive a text from Alderman Albert this afternoon. He will either be late or will not be here at all, so he will be excused if he does not make it. Moving on with the agenda, we have before us the approval of the minutes of the Crest Hill City Council, or the work session that was held, no, it was a city council meeting that was held on August 21st, 2023. Motion will be in order. We have a motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderman Jefferson for the approval of the city council minutes of August 21st, 2023. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Lottie Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, I would ask for council's concurrence. We do have some special guests in the audience this evening, so I would ask that we deviate to the mayor's report on the agenda for item number 4, for a proclamation for Constitution Week of September 17th through September 23rd, 2023 in the city of Crest Hill. You have before you a copy of the proclamation. I am going to ask that wards 1 and 2 read the proclamation, and we will begin with Alderman Dyke.
Thank you, Mayor. Proclamation. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles of limited government in a republic dedicated to rule by law, and whereas it is the privilege and duty of the American people to commemorate the 236th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America with appropriate ceremonies and activities, and
whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its members at its memorial anniversary, and to the patriotic celebration which will commence it in
Whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17 through 23 as Constitution Week. Now therefore, I, Raymond R. Solomon, by virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Crest Hill, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17 through 23, 2023 as Constitution Week.
And urge all our citizens to study the Constitution and reflect on the privilege of being an American with all the rights and responsibilities with the privilege involved. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the corporate seal of the city of Crest Hill this 5th day of September 2023, Raymond R. Solomon, Mayor.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderperson Overland, seconded by Alderman Jefferson for the approval of the minutes of the proclamation. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
John Verche.
yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Lottie Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, we also have the honor and privilege of having with us a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution, Pat
Decker.
Pat Decker. Yeah. All right, just wondering. So this has been going on for several years. Every year for a long, long time, we've been honoring the Daughters of the American Revolution with Constitution Week. We have built a strong relationship with this group of ladies that has been volunteering, again, just like Phyllis Powell, for their entire lives. So once again, we are certainly proud to have the relationship that we have with your group. We certainly want to wish you well, and we look for a long relationship going forward. And it is my honor and privilege to present to you a copy of the proclamation that was just read for your group, and you will feel free to make any comments that you would like.
All right, thank you very much. Okay. To Mayor Solomon and members of the board of the Crest Hill City, thank you for allowing us to come before you tonight to receive the proclamation to promote Constitution Week from September 17th through 23rd in Crest Hill. I'm Pat Decker. I'm a member of the Louis Joliet chapter of the Daughters of American Revolution, and I'm also a resident of Crest Hill. The purpose of and the mission of the Daughters of the American Revolution is to perpetuate the memory and spirit of the men and women who achieved American independence in 1776. To that end, we promote the education of the Constitution in our schools, our libraries, and city halls. As Abraham Lincoln said at the end of the Civil War, our safety, our liberty depends on preserving the Constitution of the United States as our fathers made it inviolate. The people of the United States are rightful masters of both Congress and the courts, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow men who pervert the Constitution. Again, thank you for having us here tonight. I just want to show you a couple of things we do with the schools. We distribute posters for the students to have in their classrooms and in their schools to remind them about Constitution Week. And then we also put together little kits for the students in 7th and 8th grade who are studying the Constitution. So they receive a flag, and they receive a little bookmark and a small version of the Constitution, and a Liberty Bell, and a pen. So then to help them remember what they've learned through the study of the Constitution. And we thank you again for your support.
City Council, any comments that you'd like to make?
Well, Pat, thank you for your work on this. You know, volunteering is what this whole country's been based on, and I appreciate your efforts and the rest of the ladies in the group. I know we have another lady down the street on Ardo, two of you,
Yes.
that are on this, so thank you for all your hard work.
Okay, and thank you too for all of your work.
Thank you, Pep. As a resident of Crest Hill, we appreciate you constantly doing this. And the Constitution, what a powerful thing. If you, as you know, it's the first three words is "we the people," and it's so powerful. As I lived in different countries, having in this country the freedom of speech and freedom of religion is the most powerful thing. And I'm like, personally, I'm so blessed and thankful to be in this country. It's very powerful for us to have this Constitution in this country.
Well, thank you, ladies, for all you do, not only for the city, but also for students in different schools and that, to commemorate the signing of the Constitution. So thanks again.
You're welcome.
Thank you again. I'm not going to repeat what he said, but
And I'll be sure to relay your thank you to our group.
you ladies are dedicated.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you tonight.
Okay, we also have several guests from the Good Shepherd Church. They are celebrating their 150th anniversary as a church in the Joliet and Crest Hill area. They annexed into the city of Crest Hill in 1999, 24 years ago, at the building that they're currently in at 2437 Plainfield Road. So I would ask that the first order of business is that we read and pass the proclamation for the Church of the Good Shepherd. We'll begin with the reading of the proclamation by Alderman Dyke.
Proclamation. A proclamation celebrating the 150th anniversary of the Church of the Good Shepherd, ECC, in the city of Crest Hill.
Whereas the congregation was first organized on August 10th, 1873, where members met in private homes. And in 1881, a church building was erected at 410 East Clay Street in Joliet, and for many years served as the center of the ministry. And
Whereas on December 10th, 1939, the American Sunday School Union began a ministry among the children in the Richland area, which eventually became known as the Six Corners Chapel, and this ministry was turned over to the Evangelical Covenant Church in 1957. And the new ministry,
That's me. And the new ministry in the Richland area assumed the name of the Calvary Covenant Church, and in 1962 erected the present church structure located at 2437 Plainfield Road, and
Whereas on May 17, 1970, the Calvary Covenant Church and the First Covenant Church merged to become the Church of the Good Shepherd Evangelical Covenant Church, and on July 6, 1999, under the leadership of Pastor David Green, the Church of the Good Shepherd and its property annexed into the city of Crest Hill, and
whereas the Church of the Good Shepherd has built a legacy of service and support to many Crest Hill residents and its surrounding communities in aiding and guiding their spiritual lives, and has been an integral part of the congregation's lives for many years, and has been with and will continue to be a gathering place that has formed many new friendships filled with lifelong memories over many generations. And
Whereas the Church of the Good Shepherd, under the leadership of Pastor Jason Bradley, will celebrate its 150th anniversary on the weekend of September 8th through 10th, 2023, with the theme of prayer, partnership, and promise, and will celebrate God's faithfulness through all generations on the celebratory weekend of their anniversary.
Now therefore, I, Raymond R. Solomon, by virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Crest Hill, do hereby proclaim September 10th, 2023 to be observed as the Church of the Good Shepherd ECC Day in the city of Crest Hill, and congratulate its congregation on the celebration of its 150th anniversary, and encourage all citizens to salute them for their efforts, accomplishments, and service to the residents of the city of Crest Hill. Given under my hand the corporate seal of the city of Crest Hill this 5th day of September 2023, Raymond R. Solomon.
Motion would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderman Dyke, for approval of proclamation celebrating the 150th anniversary of the Church of the Good Shepherd, ECC, in the city of Crest Hill. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
yes,
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Burchett.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Well, we are certainly proud to have the Church of the Good Shepherd in the city of Crest Hill. And for a church to be 150 years old is a tremendous accomplishment. All the members, and I know there are many, many parishioners here of the church here. And to think that you started out as a small gathering in somebody's home on Clay Street in the east side of Joliet 150 years ago. And this is how far you've come to where you ended up. It's amazing. And like I said, we're very, very proud to have you in the city of Crest Hill. You've been a good neighbor to us for a long time, even before you joined us in 1999. And we look forward to a long, long relationship going forward between the city of Crest Hill and the church. Because God is big enough for everybody. And it's great to have faith. It's great to have faith in your life. So with that, I would certainly like to invite Pastor Jake back to the podium. And I would certainly, on behalf of every resident, past, present, and future in the city of Crest Hill City Council, I certainly would like to present you with the copy of the proclamation that was just read, so that you can have it and hang it up somewhere also. And I'm going to join you on Sunday.
Yes.
Part of your celebration at 10:30. My wife and I will be there from your invitation, and we appreciate that. And we'll do this all over again at that time. Well,
Okay.
congratulations
Thank
to
you.
you,
Appreciate
and
it.
God bless you.
All right,
It's
thank
all
you.
yours.
All right. Yeah, well, thank you all very much. This is very special. We feel very honored, so thank you, Mayor. Thank you to the council for this special honor. We truly, truly appreciate it. And, my name is Pastor Jake Bradley. I've been a pastor at Good Shepherd for 21 years. I came very young and was the youth pastor there for many years before I became the lead pastor. But, I moved to Crest Hill, from Iowa after I finished college, not knowing what to expect. And I was interviewed for the job on my honeymoon, on a flip phone back in the day, and trying to get a job, and came here. So Crest Hill has been my home, my first kind of home. I started my ministry career here. I raised had my children here in the little house until they kicked me out when I became the lead pastor. I had to move out of the parsonage, but Crest Hill has been my home for 15 years, starting ministry, raising my family here, getting to know all my neighbors in Crest Hill. And so I'm so happy that many of our members from Good Shepherd are here. Many of them live in Crest Hill, and we very, very good people. Now, I'm reminded of the story in the gospel in Mark where the folks kind of asked Jesus, hey, what's the greatest commandment? And he said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind and strength. To which everyone kind of nodded their head, clapped, yep, Jesus, that's correct. They all kind of agreed with that. But then Jesus added the second line. He said, but the second is just like it, to love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. And I think that is what we've been trying to do at Good Shepherd. We've been trying, maybe imperfectly at times, but we've been trying to love our neighbor as ourselves. And I do think that is what our community, that's what our city, our county, our state, our country, our world needs a lot more of these days, right? Learning how to love our neighbors as ourselves. And so for us, our story, started when this country and Joliet welcomed our ancestors as neighbors when they immigrated from Sweden. We were started by a bunch of Swedish immigrants in the 1870s, and we were welcomed into this country, into Will County. In Joliet is where they started. In 1873, they started to worship together, meet together in homes, and then eventually they built the Clay Street Church, First Calvary Covenant. Now, over the decades, right, some of our neighbors were moving. They were moving to what was not yet Crest Hill, but maybe unincorporated area of Will County, now called Crest Hill, in the 1930s. And so as the people were moving there, some of our folks began the Six Corners Chapel at the American Sunday School Union, which Six Corners, you know where that's at. It's where Gaylord and Caton Farm and Route 30 all kind of intersect. And we had a chicken coop or a turkey? Turkey. We had a turkey rooster coop that kind of converted, and they would get all the kids kind of in the Sunnyland neighborhood. That was kind of the new development there, and we're trying to minister to them. And that eventually went really well, and it turned into a Calvary Covenant Church. And then we built our building in 1960 there at 2437 Plainfield Road. And in 1970, the Clay Street Covenant Church in Joliet and Calvary Covenant combined to make Church of the Good Shepherd in 1970. And then, as the mayor said, in 1999, we were officially welcomed into the city of Crest Hill, even though we'd kind of been in the area since the 1930s. A lot has changed since 1939, when it was mostly farmland. Highway 30 was a gravel road. Sunnyland was the brand new subdivision. Things have changed since then. Highway 30 is expanded to a 5-lane highway. The city of Crest Hill has this brand new, beautiful building in a new location. But what hasn't changed is our commitment to be good neighbors, to be in partnership with our city for the flourishing of all its neighbors. And so again, we want to be good partners with our city, and we want to be a part of the flourishing of everyone that lives here. So again, thank you so much for this proclamation. We truly appreciate it.
Anybody from comments from city council?
Congratulations, and I think I work where your chicken coop used to be. I work at the credit union there.
Yeah, you Mark, yep,
Yeah.
yep, that's where it
So
was.
I'm on your chicken coop ground every day. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
I imagine the people from the 1800s looking down on you people say, fantastic, you are doing a great job. They worked real hard to get this going, and you people keep it going for 150 years. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And another 150.
I'll be back here in 150 years to get the 300th proclamation.
Congratulations, you should be very proud.
Thank you.
Pastor Jake, I had the pleasure of, I don't even know how old I was, but used to have a summer Bible camp that me and some of my neighbors were a part of. And some of those memories that we made over those few summers were, stuff we would never forget. So
Yeah.
appreciate all you've done for the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you for all you do for not only your parishioners, but also the city here, having what you're doing. And as you can see, our theme of our city is City of Neighbors, and you are good neighbors, and glad to have you in the city.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll extend an invitation to any of the members of the church. If you'd like to make a comment, feel free to come to the podium.
Would like to.
Sure.
Only because I recognize a few people here.
State your name for the record. that's all.
I'm Jan Coleman. I grew up in Crest Hill on Sweetbriar Street. Hi, Glenn. And I'm the historian at the church, and I sit here and I recognize several of your names. I recognize Glenn, because I believe, Glenn, you attended our church when it was at the corner of Grandview and Circle. I think you came to a few vacation Bible schools, you and your brothers. I remember that. I remember Tina. Tina bought my first car from me many years ago. Quite a history in Crest Hill. And our church has been in Crest Hill, not just annexed in it in 1999, but we've been here since 1939, first in the turkey roost, and then we brought the old Heap schoolhouse from the Heap farm over to Grandview and Circle, and that building still stands. That's where Dennis and Carmen Schneider had their photography business for many years. Nate, I know that I was part of leading a child evangelism Bible club that you were in. Your mother and I are good friends. We went to high school together. So we are connected to Crest Hill. Our church is a part of Crest Hill, and we're very proud to be a part of the city. And I personally was thrilled when we were annexed in 1999. So thank you very much. Thank you for approving, and good to see you, Glenn.
Thank you. Anyone else?
You know what? At one time, I think we had one of your parishioners belong on the city council, Ted Bostrom. Yeah, he was on the city council, and I was with him at the council. That was a couple of years ago.
I had my acting debut at Good Shepherd Church. I was Joseph in the church play, and I happened to pass out on baby Jesus. A lot of great
We
memories.
would love to
kids.
see those pictures, Glenn.
Oh, yeah, do you have a film of that?
Okay, thank you. I'd also ask that we deviate to number 3 under the Public Works Department. For the Grand Prairie Water Commission update, we do have Teresa O'Grady here from CMT to give a presentation to the City Council. So I would like to turn it over. Elaine, do you have any opening comments?
No, that was all.
All right, we'll turn it over to Teresa to walk through the presentation with us. Teresa?
Thank you. Okay, great. Good evening. My name is Teresa O'Grady. I'm with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley. And I'm here today on behalf of the Grand Prairie Water Commission to provide an update on the Alternative Water Source Program. And it disappeared. Is there something I need to do?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay. Nope.
Is the cord all the way in? Sometimes it's real loose.
What do I need to do?
Is the HDMI cord?
I'll unplug it and then plug it back in again. Any luck?
There we go.
There we go.
No?
Just hold it there.
It worked fine this afternoon. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it.
I could try. I have a different one.
your adapter.
Let me look.
Yes.
Try that one again.
It's not connecting to you, huh?
I was gonna say, can we try off a static computer?
I mean, Chris, if I can get it on your laptop, can you do it from your laptop?
Yeah,
I can email it to you right now.
no, I won't be able to pick it up.
Is it staying up now?
Can you try changing slide, maybe? Yeah, let's roll with it.
Okay, we'll keep going. I'll try to step away from here so I don't touch anything on the screen here. So in this presentation, I'll provide a brief summary of the program background. I will highlight recent program accomplishments as well as discuss the path to program completion. As you know, the deep groundwater that's been used as the drinking water source for this region for over 100 years is being depleted and will no longer be able to meet the demands of our communities. In addition, the shallow groundwater that's been used as drinking water source for some of the communities has experienced water quality deterioration. After exhaustive studies, it was decided that the best long-term, sustainable, reliable, high-quality water source for our region is purchasing treated Lake Michigan water from the city of Chicago and pumping it to the region. In order to cost-effectively deliver the new water source to the region, 6 communities, Shanahan, Crest Hill, Joliet, Minooka, Romeoville, and Shorewood, decided to work together, and each community approved a preliminary agreement regarding the formation of a regional water commission in February of 2022. Since that time, member communities have been working together to further water commission formation and proceed with the implementation of the alternative water source program. In August of last year, the member communities announced a name for the new commission, the Grand Prairie Water Commission. More information on the commission can be found at the website, gpwc-il.org. And it's truly exciting to be a participant in the foundational discussions regarding the development of a new public water supply for the region. Since 2021, there has been significant progress towards the formation of the Grand Prairie Water Commission and significant support from state and federal legislators. Currently, Water Commission formation is progressing while 4 of the member communities who did not have Lake Michigan allocation permits are actively working to obtain allocations by the end of the year. Once permit allocations are obtained and the members reach consensus on the commission documents, the Water Commission can form. This is anticipated to occur in the first quarter of 2024. Another key milestone was achieved a couple of months ago in April with the approval of the final water supply agreement between the City of Chicago and the City of Joliet. This long-term water supply agreement will be assigned to the Grand Prairie Water Commission once it's formed in 2024. Implementation of the Alternative Water Source Program has proceeded quickly in the past year and a half. A significant amount of effort has been spent on program definitions such as what is included in the program and how much does it cost, and program setup, including establishment of procedure and processes to achieve the 2030 completion. As we look at the program map, we can see the various improvements such as water mains, pump stations, and delivery points that need to be constructed to pump water from Chicago up in the northeast portion of the map to the member communities to the south and west. In the past year, the program team completed preliminary design of these improvements and detailed construction cost estimates were prepared. Currently, the program team is working on final design of the improvements, and by the end of 2023, we anticipate a few of the improvements at the connection to Chicago will be nearing 90% design completion. In addition to the behind-the-scenes design engineering, there have been many other accomplishments over the past year. This includes geotechnical field investigations, field surveying, water main routing evaluations, solicitation of a construction manager at risk for the Chicago connection facilities, and coordination with communities along the transmission main route. We still have a lot to accomplish in the next few years, but we've accomplished a lot in the past year and a half. As final design progresses, we're looking forward to commission formation and the beginning of construction in 2024. Another key milestone recently achieved is the establishment of a baseline program schedule and budget. Establishing a baseline program schedule and budget is important for a program of this magnitude so the program can be effectively managed. Status and progress will be regularly compared to the baseline program schedule and budget and reevaluated annually by the Grand Prairie Water Commission Board of Commissioners to determine if modification of the baseline program schedule and budget is required. The baseline program schedule defines the sequence of work and milestones that must be met to successfully deliver water by 2030. The baseline program budget represents the total projected cost of the program in actual dollars at the time spent. It includes all costs associated with design, construction, issuance of financing of all commission-owned infrastructure. There's been considerable effort in establishing the baseline program schedule and putting procedures in place to track and report on progress. It's important to make sure the program can be completed in time in order to deliver the new water source to the region by 2030. The program improvements are separated into 28 work packages grouped based on construction type, geography, and contract size. For 30% design, a detailed schedule with critical path items, including land acquisition, permitting, was developed for each work package. The final design, bidding, and construction schedule was established to achieve substantial completion of all construction by December 31st of 2029 to allow for system-wide startup and testing to begin January 1st, 2030. With this schedule, we are targeting May of 2030 to begin water delivery to commission members. While this is, I'm sure, hard to see on the screen, it shows the preliminary design, final design, bidding, and construction timeframes for the 28 work packages. I'm happy to report that the resulting baseline program schedule shows the completion of construction of all the work packages by third quarter of 2029, and in most cases, most of the work packages are completed by mid-2029. Looking at the construction schedule overlaid on the program map, we can see that initial construction begins in mid-2024 and early 2025 outside of the member communities near the Chicago connection. Construction in member communities is not anticipated to begin until early 2026. As mentioned earlier, the baseline program budget represents the total projected cost of the program in actual dollars at the time spent. It includes all costs associated with the design, construction, and financing issuance of all commission-owned infrastructure. Since these costs occur in the future, the present-day costs were escalated based on an assumed rate of 4% per year to arrive at a baseline program budget. Establishing a baseline program budget is important for a program of this magnitude so the program can be effectively managed. It also serves as the foundation for the development of the baseline program financing plan. There are many steps that go into the development of the program budget. It starts with the budget inputs, which include updated construction cost estimates, estimates of non-construction costs, and the application of project and program level contingencies. Next, we have to consider things that might impact the program budget, including the scope and complexity of improvements, external constraints, material costs and availability, the current bidding environment, and cost escalation. Looking at a few of these budget considerations in more detail, all of these costs, construction costs and non-construction costs, and project and program level contingencies, are greatly impacted when considering the scope and complexity of the improvements spanning 65 miles across 4 counties through 14 municipalities and involving numerous right-of-way entities. One of the biggest considerations in defining the program budget has been consideration of recent material costs increases. As we all know, when we go to the grocery store to buy milk or eggs, costs have gone up considerably. Similarly, material costs have gone up considerably in the past 2 to 3 years, including cost increases for large diameter transmission mains, the cost of steel more than doubling, the cost of large valves increasing over 50%, and the cost of cast in place concrete almost tripling. Note that the material cost increases are impacting all construction projects, not just this program. Several member communities evaluated water source alternatives prior to approving the preliminary agreement, and all of the water source alternatives would have seen similar increases. As I mentioned earlier, the program budget reflects costs that will occur in the future. So another major consideration is what to assume for cost escalation. Prior to 2021, historic construction costs increased at an average of about 3% per year for the past 50 years. However, in the past 2 years, cost escalation has been significantly higher, closer to 6% and 7%. While no one has a crystal ball to know what the cost escalation will be in the future, member communities have decided to be more conservative and used a cost escalation rate of 4% per year in the baseline program budget. Taking all of these things into consideration, we arrive at a baseline program budget of $1.446 billion. This table shows the cost obligation for Crest Hill, including Crest Hill's portion of the regional infrastructure costs, as well as Crest Hill's cost for non-primary connections and delivery structures. And this breakdown has been provided for each of the members as part of the baseline program budget. Now that the baseline program budget has been established, we need to find a way to finance the costs. The Commission financing strategy is similar to what has been used and presented previously, with a mix of federal low-interest loans, WIFIA loans, state low-interest loans, SRF, revenue bonds, and grants as available. While the sources of funds are the same as previously proposed, The assumed interest rates are higher now, and there's a greater reliance on revenue bonds, which carry a higher interest rate. As we move forward, the program team will continue to look for opportunities which might result in a lower cost to the member communities, whether that be optimizing the improvements, obtaining grants, or shuffling the funding sources based on interest rates. Adoption of the baseline program, schedule, and budget is indeed a major milestone in the progress of the alternative water source program. The establishment of the baseline program, schedule, and budget, together with the Chicago Water Supply Agreement, members' progress towards receipt of allocation permits, and plans for Water Commission formation all position the Grand Prairie Water Commission well for beginning construction in 2024 and progressing towards delivery of Lake Michigan water to the region by 2030. So on behalf of the program team and the Grand Prairie Water Commission members, thank you for having me here tonight to talk about the Alternative Water Source Program and all we've accomplished over the past year. So with that, if there are any questions.
Very, very well done on the presentation, Teresa. Any questions from City Council? Of Teresa, or Chris Elm was also here from Strand and Associates.
The other communities that haven't joined this, what if they take this water on, is this main going to be large enough for their services also?
The preliminary agreement that was signed by all the members indicated that there wouldn't be excess capacity for anyone beyond the members and their projected growth. So the main is being sized for the members' current demands and future build-out demands. And so the only way communities would be able to join in the future is if one of the current members did not use all their capacity that they're currently projecting.
So originally, when this was estimated for its cost,
Yeah.
the studies were done to determine whether or not that this was the cheapest route to go. Preliminarily, that was $60 million. We're not there today.
Yeah, so if we take what was done with the cost estimates and the basis of design that was attached to the preliminary agreement that all the members signed, and we project it, because that was in 2020 dollars. So if we use the cost escalation that has been historically experienced, and we project it to the midpoint of construction in order to compare apples to apples, that number was about $1 billion. This is about 35% or so higher.
From 60 to 100 is not 35%.
That I'm looking at the overall program costs for everything that was contemplated as part of the basis of design. And so that number at the time was about a little over 13 million per MGD that was included in the basis of design. So I can get you guys the exact numbers, but I don't know if you have anything more to add on that.
If I can.
Sure.
I would like to add that this discussion was about getting water to Crest Hill. This is the high power line, electrical equivalent. And then you've got your distribution system that you own and operate and maintain. And you'll recall improvements need to be made to that to receive and distribute the water. Financing was mentioned here. You're also going after IEPA low interest loan financing, which, as you recall, with the wastewater treatment plant, we're going for some principal forgiveness on that to help offset some of these. The cost for those improvements, we've been able to, while the cost per facility has seen these same increases, we've been able to do further study and reduce the number of facilities that are necessary to offset that almost one for one. So that 16 million for infrastructure in 2020 dollars. It's still 16 million, less tanks, one less pumping station that we found, like I said, through study, we didn't need. We could still distribute the water because of the pressure that the commission is providing. So that is offsetting those costs. Not all, but that is.
A small portion of those costs, a very small portion of those. And we're not looking at 35% increase, we're looking at over 50% increase.
May I ask another question? Is there gonna be one pumping station only, or is there gonna be two pumping stations?
On your internal system or in the commission system?
It comes from the lake.
There's going to be a intermediate pump station and standpipe in the Lamont area, and then there's gonna be an intermediate standpipe in the Shorewood area. And so there would be two points. Initially, the one in the Shorewood area would not have a full flow pump station, but it would by 2050.
And then the commission also, or Chicago owns and commission, there's a pumping station in Chicago as well,
Yes.
at 84th and Kevin.
Yeah, there's actually two. There's at the Chicago connection, there's a low service pump station that pumps water out of the tunnel into a storage tank and has an air gap between the commission system and the Chicago system. And then there's a high pressure pump station that pumps it out of that reservoir to this area.
Here in town, when it's dropped off, there's a current day new tank proposed at Oakland and Caton Farm Road, where the current well 10 property is at. And that site will have a pumping station that is able to deliver to the two zones. And then also at 1209, 1205 Caton Farm Road, there's two pieces of property that the city owned there. That's just going to be a receiving station where chemicals can be adjusted, but the commission will have enough pressure in the water to deliver it straight to the low zone. Down the road, the property at Peach Street and Gaylord, just south of the tracks on Gaylord, I'm questioning myself now on that, might become another small tank and pumping station site. If the city continues to grow in water demands, hopefully the city will continue to grow, it should grow. But water demands are kind of declining as we go on a per person basis with water saving features, so you might not need that facility ever.
This is gonna go directly to Lake Michigan, right? It's not gonna go, another hook up, another system anywhere else? It'll be right to the lake, right?
It is connecting to City of Chicago in their tunnel system. And so it's getting water, treated water from City of Chicago. So City of Chicago, currently, their system is kind of separated in two. They have the Eugene Sawyer Water Purification Plant that's on the south portion of the system. And so they have a crib in the lake, a couple miles out, and it comes into Eugene Sawyer Water Purification Plant. It treats the water, and then it lets it flow by gravity to the tunnel system. And the tunnels go all the way out to the Southwest Pumping Station in Chicago at about 85th and Kedvale. And we are actually intercepting the tunnel system at that location in order to then, take the water basically directly from the tunnel system from the City of Chicago. And that allows us to, through the cost of service methodology that was approved with the water supply agreement between Chicago and Joliet, which will then be assigned to the commission, it allows for that water to really be cheaper, because the only facilities we're using in Chicago are the cribs, Eugene Sawyer Water Purification, and the tunnel system. So, but it is connecting at about 85th and Kedvale.
But then that pipe is dedicated to the 6 communities all the way out from Chicago. No other communities, as they pass through those 14
Yes.
communities, no other communities take off of that. As it goes through Romeoville, it's gonna drop off Romeoville's water in Romeo. As it goes through Crest Hill, it's gonna drop off Crest Hill, so you're second in line for the water. All the Joliet water, Shorewood water, Manuka water, and Shanahan water runs underneath the city as it goes.
And we have a tremendous benefit, the reason for joining the commission with 6 municipalities involved. Now we're talking 400,000 customers instead of just Crest Hill's
Yep.
21,000 customers. So our opportunity to receive more monies, not only from the state, but from federal monies when it comes to grants and everything else, we would have a higher probability of receiving much more federal money being part of the commission with almost 500,000 customers compared to just one small community of our size.
Yeah, we're trying as hard as we can to work with state and federal legislators to tap into, any kind of grants and funds available. And especially on the low interest side, having the opportunity as much as we can to use that federal and state low revolving, low interest loans.
You mentioned the allocation process as well. If I could just give you a quick update
Sure.
on that.
We just had that.
The final hearing was on August 30th, last Wednesday, went very well. In Illinois, it's a legal matter to be able to take Lake Michigan water. You have to get a court order. IDNR regulates that process. IDNR was in support of granting that permit or that order, that allocation amount. So now it's just a matter of going through the processes and steps to get final approval by the turn of the year, as Teresa mentioned.
Chris, I know that we've talked about this before, but the majority of the route, is it on public right-of-way, or is there a lot of private property owners that we're dealing with?
Yeah, well, I'll kind of
Go
answer
ahead.
that.
Yep, no.
Part of the Water Commission Act allows the commission to use public rights-of-way with notice. I believe it's with 90-day notice to the entity. So the majority of it will be along public right-of-way. There will be instances where, as we are dealing with utilities and environmental features and, railroad, wetlands, IDOT, other places where we might need to either bore and jack or tunnel. And sometimes as we get into those tight areas, we spill a little bit beyond the right-of-way. But we're trying to avoid that as much as possible, because that's the main benefit of forming a commission and having that right to use public right-of-ways.
Great, thanks.
Anybody from the audience? Question? Okay. Well, thank you very much. And, we have to keep moving forward with this and work through it. So,
Thank you.
all right, you guys have a good night. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Moving back to the top of the agenda under the city attorney, our city attorney, Mike Stiff. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have one agenda item. It is the approval of a resolution approving an employee leasing agreement by and between the City of Crest Hill and GovTemps USA LLC as discussed at the work session last week. This is for the employment through the end of the year of Ron Menser, who is here on the front row, through GovTemps. So the resolution and the contract should be in your packet.
So moved as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal, for a resolution approving an employee leasing agreement by and between the City of Crest Hill and GovTemps USA LLC for the services provided by Mr. Ron Mensner. Just a couple of comments from the mayor. We did vet Ron through GovHR. We had him here last week for questions and answers from the city council. I will say that he brings a wealth of experience to the city of Crest Hill. He has 30 years of experience with the city of Warrenville, where he was the Community and Economic Development Director. He has a lot of background with TIF districts, and he has just a multitude of experiences over his 30-year career. So I feel that he would be a good fit for the city of Crest Hill to help us put some plans in place to move forward. So we do have a motion and a second. I will ask if there's any questions or comments before the vote.
We're looking forward to work with you.
And roll call, please, Chris.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Burchett.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes?
and Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Motion carries, resolution 1188.
And Ron is here this evening, so I would like to introduce Ron Metzner as our interim economic development director, and the podium is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. I truly appreciate the opportunity to be part of your team, albeit on a temporary basis. Thank you for your positive comments about myself. I truly look forward to working with all the elected officials, getting to know you along the way, earning your trust. I genuinely look forward to working with your staff, being part of your team. And importantly, I'm committed to using my vast experience, almost 35 years in local government, primarily in community and economic development roles, to have a positive impact on the future of Crest Hill, the city of Crest Hill. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Any other comments from council?
Well, I look forward to working with you, sir, and I have a lot of faith in your experience, and I hope you can guide us down the path we need to be on.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Take a coat up now and let's go to work.
And for the record, Ron's first day with us will be on Monday, September 11th.
That's right.
Looking forward to it.
Yep.
9/11.
Okay, thank you. I just want to go back to Blaine under Public Works. Blaine, is there anything else you had to offer this evening besides the Grand Prairie Commission?
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a quick update. I know Council had some questions about the arborvitae specifically out front. I did get a meeting with Kitty Landscaping. They're all covered by the warranty, so look, they will all be removed the first week of October and replaced with some lilacs.
With some what?
Lilacs.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, so that will be taken care of. We'll get that knocked out before the open house. That's all, unless anyone has any questions.
Any questions of Blaine?
Yeah, could we see about getting some signs? I keep hearing that people are coming here to the police department instead of going around. Maybe get some signs outside the parking lot there before people would enter to direct people to go down and around.
We're actually making those signs right now. Those are
Okay.
stone monuments. They're being quarried and etched out. They have scheduled delivery date sometime here in October. Those will be installed at that time. Actually, today they're supposed to lay out the locations, but I was a little busy today, so we'll have to come and do it later this week.
All right, thank you.
Besides that, can we add signage to the actual door that says police department and the entrance door? There's nothing that actually says.
There is on top of the
above the door.
building.
It's above the
It
door.
says on top.
Yeah, recently, probably in the last few weeks, they just put the lettering.
Oh, okay.
in it.
Okay,
Yeah,
'cause
it's-
there wasn't anything.
Yeah, if you look
There
tonight, you
wa-
can just
okay,
went up
it's been
recently.
added. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Blaine, and I forgot to ask, is there any questions of the city attorney?
Okay, but I can just add before I take any questions, I attended the eviction proceeding for 1907 Kelly this morning, and the judge extended the eviction order that was entered, I believe, last year, and no one ever, the bank never pursued it. So the attorney who covered it this morning was not the primary attorney. She didn't really know the file, to be honest with you, but the order was entered by the judge. I have a call in to the lawyer who actually signed the motion to find out when they're gonna get that order to county and when it will be executed, and Ed's gonna follow up with county tomorrow to make sure that it stays on the top of the pile. So, fingers
Thank you.
crossed, good news. With that, I'll
Okay, any questions of city attorney? All right, thanks, Mike. Moving on to City Engineer Ron Wiedemann. Good evening, Ron.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing on the agenda. Just want to let council know that today and tomorrow, Kate Farm from Weber to Six Corners is being patched. It's got hectic due to all the traffic. They're actually patching it after the school starts and stopping before they get out. But they do shut it down in one lane, so there is some delays there. That's been put out on the website, and some advance notice has been done, but they'll be completed tomorrow, so
Can we
it's a
put
short,
another
quick
notice
project.
on Facebook?
Huh?
Can we put another reminder on Facebook like 2 weeks ago?
Yep, I will talk to Mayor about tomorrow.
Have we communicated directly to the school about this, other than our Facebook page or our website?
No, we did
We-
not, we just said that we would work in non-school hours, pick up the, we don't wanna be there when they're dropping off or picking up at the end of the day.
Yeah, I heard that from some residents that it was a little bit more than small patching. There was some
Yeah,
bigger digging going on, and it was
I had
a
some
surprise to a lot of people.
Yeah, well, people have been calling me for the past 2 weeks since the barrels have been out there, so, I actually had some complaints today that, they're sitting for 30, 35 minutes. I said out there, that's not true. It's 3 minutes to held traffic, and then they move traffic, so I was out there for a good hour and a half today, so.
Do you know how many days it's gonna take?
They'll be done tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Okay.
Yep, they have, they finished westbound up today, they just have to do a portion of eastbound tomorrow.
Okay.
That's it.
It is nice that they're completing that work fairly quickly, like.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic, so it makes it difficult, but yes, it's.
It's just some of the work that they've done on the other streets. It's an inconvenience for a day or two, but then it's nicer after they're done.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions of Ron? All right, thanks, Ron. Community Development, we have nothing on the agenda. Anybody?
Mayor, before you go forward with community development, I'd like to say a big thanks to our building commissioner, Don Seaman. He has been working on and finally got it accomplished. It's been there for a number of years on Broadway, 1724. It was a house that caught fire. It was boarded up. Well, he, through contacting the owner and working with the owner and getting the contractor to level the place, it was finally leveled, and now there's no longer that eyesore there on Broadway. So I want to thank Commissioner Seaman on that, his hard work.
I'm sure
on
you
that.
appreciate a phone call tomorrow.
Well, I have told him personally, but I
Okay.
here in public at the meeting, so everyone on council knows that that eyesore's been taken care of, and want to thank him publicly, so thanks
I wanna
again to him.
comment on what he said as well. I'm just amazed with Don. He's just hands-on, hardworking. I mean, 165 court enforcement this month, just 1 month, the month of August that he have done. So kudos to his office and him. They're constantly busy, they're constantly doing things. It's amazing what he have done.
Plus, the hearings have been busier too. There's a lot more people in
Yeah.
hearings. Before, we only had like
42
maybe 10 or
administrative
that. Now there's
hearings.
like 50, 60, so,
Yeah.
yeah, they've been working real hard and
Yeah.
trying to clean up the city, so, the whole
Yeah, and
department.
those meetings moved about 7, 8 months ago to 3 o'clock instead of at night, and I think they're getting a lot more positive reaction from the 3 o'clock, so it's working out well.
Yeah, you call him and he's like right there. It's,
Okay, Police Department, our Police Chief, Ed Clark.
Evening, Mayor and Council. I do not have an agenda item this evening, but I'd be willing to entertain any question.
Questions of the Police Chief?
any updates on the signs?
On signs, yes. I could tell you that I've been talking with Mr., I think his name's Rodriguez. I'm gonna be bringing to you, to City Council, a cost on the stop signs and seeing if that's something you guys wanna enter into on private property. I'll be bringing that, cause they're not gonna pay for it. So I will be bringing that as an agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Mayor's report. The only thing left is a proclamation for National Rail Safety Week, September 18 through 24, 2023. This will be read by wards 3 and 4, so we'll begin with Alderperson Overland.
Whereas 2,194 rail grade crossing collisions resulted in 803 personal injuries and were responsible for 274 fatalities in the United States during 2022, and whereas 1,208 pedestrian trespassing casualties have occurred in the United States, resulting in 658 pedestrians being killed and another 550 injured while trespassing on railroad property rights of way during 2022, and
whereas educating and informing the public about rail safety, reminding the public that railroad right-of-ways are private property, enhancing public awareness of the dangers associated with highway rail grade crossings, ensuring pedestrians and motorists are looking and listening while near railways, and obeying established traffic laws will reduce the number of avoidable fatalities and injuries caused by incidents involving trains and citizens, and
Whereas the International Associations of Chiefs of Police, National Operation Lifesaver, United States Department of Transportation, and all local, state, county, and railroad law enforcement officers, first responders, and railroad corporations commit to partnering together in an effort to educate at a national level all aspects of railroad safety, to enforce applicable laws in support of National Rail Safety Week.
Now therefore, I, Raymond R. Solomon, by virtue of authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Crest Hill, do hereby proclaim the week of September 18th through 24th, 23 as National Rail Safety Week. In witness hereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the corporate seal of the city of Crest Hill this 5th day of September 2023. Raymond R. Solomon.
Motion would be in order.
so moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderperson Overland, seconded by Alderman Jefferson for the approval of the proclamation for National Rail Safety Week. Questions or comments? Roll call.
I have a rather personal interest in this, even though in my particular case, I don't think it would have ever been avoided. A year ago, my cousin was killed at a train crossing in Wilmington. Unfortunately, it was suicide, so you really can't prevent that, but we can be as safe as we can for other people.
Roll call, please.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Burchett.
Yes.
And Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
Okay, that's it for the mayor, unless there's any questions. Moving on to the city clerk's report. Our city clerk, Christine Burchett Hall.
Thank you. The only thing I have is a block party request. Resident on Lock Lane is requesting a block party October 7th. They're requesting to close off Lock Lane to Abbey Lane to Prestwick Drive. Council, your decision.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Albert, seconded by Alderman Jefferson for approval of the block party for 21503 Lock Lane. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Burchett.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
And Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you, and we'll forward all the information on to the proper department. And that's all I have to report tonight.
Pat, any comments?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
You're all invited.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, any questions of city clerk?
Just a comment, Chris, it was brought to my attention, we have some legislators here a couple weeks ago. And next up, when they call and they want to come, can you make sure to invite the council or notify the council? This is our choice if we can make it or not. It's really important to keep a good relation with our state representative, the legislators. Doesn't matter if we vote for them or we don't vote, or we like them, don't like them. We need to keep a good relation, and having the council here, it would have been a good respect for them to show them that we are thankful for them and what they do for us in the future. So I appreciate next time that you will notify us.
Okay, they did not come through our area, they only stayed
I
in the police
understand, but
department.
regardless, we were not given the opportunity. I'm just asking as a, nicely, that we be notified. It's the council decision, it's not anyone else's decision, if we want to be here or not.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Chris. Moving on to city treasurer's report. Our treasurer, Glenn Conklin. Good evening, Glenn.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I seek your approval, or a motion for your approval, on our list of bills through September 6th, 2023, in the amount of $2,088,113.40.
So moved as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderperson Overland, seconded by Alderman Jefferson for the list of bills. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Burchett.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
and Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
Thank you all on that. The only thing else I'd just report our regular and overtime payroll from the 14th of August through the 27th. That totaled $241,453.73. That's all I have for this evening.
Any questions of the treasurer?
No, but I would like to wish him a very happy birthday tomorrow. Hope you have many, many more, my good friend. Mwah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Glenn. Moving on, unfinished business. We have nothing under unfinished business. Anybody? New business, anyone? Committee liaison reports, anybody? City council comments, positive city council comments, anything you'd like to share with any of your constituents? Begin with Ward 4, Alderman Kubal tonight.
Nothing to add at this time, Mayor.
Alderman Albert?
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
Alderman Sapiti?
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
Alderperson Oberlin?
Well, Ron, welcome to the city. I look forward once again working with you. Thank you.
Alderwoman Gazal?
Ron, welcome again. Looking forward to work with you as well, and I see good things coming. I'm really positive about it. And also, let's remember the words of the pastor that was here. Love your neighbors, even though some of us can't stand one another. You know, remember the word of Christ is love your neighbor, no matter what. Thank you, Mayor.
Alderman Jefferson?
Nothing at this time.
Alderman Verche?
Congratulations to our new employee.
Alderman Dyke?
Just looking forward to working with you and seeing how you can help move the city forward.
Okay, public comment. Anyone like to address city council, please step to the podium, state your name for the record. Your address is optional. Let the record show that no one has approached the podium. To our city attorney, Mike, is there a need for an executive session?
Yes, there is, Mayor.
Pardon me?
I believe there's going to be a motion.
Yes, I'm making a motion to go into executive session for 122C1 personnel and also for 120-2C11 for litigations.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderperson Oberlin for executive session for 2C1 and 2C11. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Burchett.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
and Nate Albert.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, we'll be going into executive session at 8:18 PM.
Good night, Ron.
Are we staying in here?